Bob Odell and Gidon Ariel here of Root Source. In our first two segments, you covered the 3 points of Teshuvah, and now I'd like to ask a couple questions that came up during that presentation. Thank you for that. That was really wonderful. My first question is there any connection to this national Teshuvah of returning to Israel to the way that Christians often I'd say grab onto a certain important passage in Second Chronicles 7:14 that says when we're in a nation that the nation is going, we feel it's going in the wrong direction, that we would often try to gather together as a small, a remnant, a group of believers within the country, and pray along the lines of Second Chronicles 7:14, and that says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land. Do you think there's a connection between that concept and national, or are we talking about two separate things? Well, I suppose there's some connection, but how do you see that?
I'm not sure what the question is, because I think that that's a beautiful verse, a verse that I've become more familiar with when hanging out with singing Christians, because they like to sing songs based on those individual verses. As it happens to be, I have a weekly study session with a study partner studying the Bible. And we are up to exactly that chapter in Chronicles 2.
Wow.
So last week or something like that. And I noticed that verse, and I remembered how much it is a favorite verse of so many Christians. It is a verse that it comes in the context, I'm sure many of you know, of King Solomon's prayer to God at the dedication of the temple, which he built, and he is talking about the future relationship between the Jewish people and non-Jewish people, but mostly the Jewish people and God, using prayer through God's temple on earth as a conduit to achieve the religious and spiritual goals that individuals and a nation should have. For you to suggest that verse is therefore addressing national teshuvah, national repentance, I think that it's very clear. I guess I should wonder, and maybe go back and try to review this and maybe do a little bit of research, how much traction that verse got in Rabbi Kook's writings when he talked about national repentance, because it's right there. It's basically saying, if my nation will do repentance, nation repentance. There it is. So it's all in that one verse. So I definitely encourage Christians to study that verse, to pray that verse, to sing that verse. I would further encourage them to open up their Bibles. If they know that verse off by heart, that's great.
and read what's in either
read
side.
The context, because it's also very beautiful.
It is very and it's
inspiring.
Very instructive. Yes. And my other question is the connection, as you see it, between Teshuvah. Say it. Help me again. Teshuvah.
Okay, let's do a little a language break here for a second. You've heard of the grammar concept, the schwa. Schwa. We learned about it in English class. It is a half syllable, a half vowel.
Okay.
So like little, the word little.
Yes.
It's got two syllables. Little.
Yes, little.
But what is that syllable? What is that? What would you call the vowel of the second syllable?
Oh,
it's a schwa. It's a short, barely recognizable vowel. So the word teshuvah has, I would even go as far as saying that the word little has 1.5 syllables.
Ah,
The
okay.
schwa is like a half syllable.
Yes, yes.
So teshuvah has 2.5 syllables. The t just as it
Yes.
is. Teshuvah. And by the way, the schwa, some of you have probably remember it better than Bob does. It comes from the Hebrew word shva. It's actually comes from the same. There are some English words that come from Hebrew words. Shuva.
Ah,
Shuva. 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 And then you just stick the
Teshuvah.
t at the
Okay.
beginning. T with an apostrophe.
Teshuvah.
Teshuvah.
Okay. Teshuvah.
And if you're talking about it a lot, then you can almost put the T and the SH together, so it becomes tshuva.
Ah,
No, people won't. People
Teshuvah.
probably won't look askance
Teshuvah. Okay.
if you say tshuva as 2 syllables.
I see. I see.
Tshuva.
Okay, that's why I've heard it pronounced sort of two ways.
Different ways,
Okay.
yes.
So the connection of repentance to
Yes.
Yom Kippur.